Hello and welcome to Rogue Artisans and Crafters, winner of the 2018 Southern Oregon Television Awards for Best Arts and Culture Show. I'm your host, David Glamour Dave Nienow, and we welcome you, our viewer, to our show where we feature local artists and craftspeople here in Southern Oregon. With our show, we talk to our featured artists about how they came to their art, what drives them as artists, find out stories behind their art process, and how their work as artists influences their lives. Today, we're privileged to feature local artist Marta Quest. Marta is a master drum maker. I discovered Marta this last winter while attending the local art and crafts fairs. Marta crafts Native American hoop-style drums, along with other custom drumsticks, rawhide rattles, and walking sticks, among other craft items. She paints beautiful images on her drums and other crafts. I find her work uniquely beautiful, and I'm pleased to have her appear on the show. And so today we will talk to Marta Quest about her life as an artist and the work that she pursues today with her art. And so welcome, Marta, to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. I really find the work that you produce very unique and very cool. And that's why you're here. So, so to begin with, how long have you been working as a professional artist?
About 30 years.
Wow, okay.
Although I've been painting since I was 5.
Okay. And what was it that kind of directed you into the work that you're doing now?
1987, someone handed me a drum.
Yeah.
It scared me very much. I didn't know what to do with it. I was pretty uptight in those days. But when I started drumming, my little kid came out to play again, and my sacred feminine. Yeah. And I think I started painting drums when I realized that this is a fabulous canvas to put art on.
Right.
So I started making drums 30 years ago, and then I started painting them after that. Because there's just so many things that you can paint.
Right.
And it gives me great opportunity. I just finished this one for a client, the mountain. That was very fun. It's fun, and I'm really happy to see what happens when I do it.
Yeah, and of course, what you're producing are what are called Native American hoop drums,
yes. Correct? Yes.
And so this is a style of drum that comes out of the Native American Indian tradition.
Yes, indigenous people.
Right, and your art that you depict on the drums have a lot of Native American style imagery and themes to them.
Yes, and Celtic.
Okay, and so I find that appealing to me that you're taking a traditional Native American craft and also combining that with the artistic imagery, and so I find that just really. You're producing some really beautifully unique crafts. And in addition to the hoop drums, you're also producing a variety of other items that are Native American themed, correct? So you're like producing custom drum sticks, correct? And rattles.
Yes,
right?
Rawhide rattles.
Right, and so and then you also have what are called talking sticks.
Yes.
Right? And as well as walking sticks.
Yes.
Okay. And then you've got you produce like leather covers for your drums.
I do.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of different things.
I do.
So one of the things that in learning about you online was that each drum that you make is unique in its sound, correct?
Correct. Even if 2 drums come from the same hide, they will both sound, they'll have their own unique sound.
Right, okay.
It won't be the same.
That's really kind of cool.
I think so too.
And in fact, we actually have a bit of a short video that kind of shows the process. My show director, Wanda Borland, who went through your class a while back, has produced a video that kind of showcases what your drum making class is like.
Good.
And it's about a 5-minute video. And so if my control room can bring that video up, the audience can kind of learn about that, and then we'll come back and talk more about your life and your work.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. There's 4 scallops down, and I punch holes, 2 holes in each one. So now what we want to do is make sure that this is all centered on the head. Okay, now your lace strings off. You see how I catch it?
Yeah.
In on the right and out on the left. Comprendez-vous?
Marta, will these be able to be played today?
4 days.
4 days they will cure.
They will become this new being in 4 days. It'll take them that long to dry and to introduce themselves to each other.
And they each make a different sound, yeah?
Every single one. And these are all from the same height. But every single one of them will have its own unique special, which I love.
That's
I love that
neat,
part.
yeah.
Drop this down. We're going to cross over, drop this down here, and then through the loop.
Alrighty, well, we are back, and I've watched that video in preparing for the show about 3 or 4 times actually this week, and I found the fact that that you could have multiple pieces of leather hide from basically from the same hide being cut, and just have a totally different drum from one piece of leather to the next. I think that's it makes for a unique aspect of the drums that you make.
I think about like our own bodies, that the skin on my back is not the same as the skin on my belly or any other part.
Right.
So they're all going to have their own density, their own flexibility,
Right.
and I guess their own tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that certainly makes for making your drums that more unique for the buyers of your craft. And
Whenever someone tries a drum, I ask them to listen with their heart, because the heart is what needs to resonate with the drum, or the drum needs to resonate with that person's heart. If it doesn't, then it's not the drum for them.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you actually have brought a few elements of your drum making process that you have next to you. And so let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
So
this is the part of a cylinder that's 24 inches long, and then I cut it to 3 inches, and then I round the edges. And in this case, I put my logo in it because I'll be making these drums.
Right.
And then I will stain it and oil it because of the rawhide being wet. I want to protect the wood.
Right.
So I oil it after that. And I always use oak stain, just because I like it. And then this is a piece of rawhide that I've created a template and to use for this size drum.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and this is the flesh side and this is the hair side, but all of that has been removed. And then someone, not me, makes these laces, and I soak them 24 hours. Both of these need to be soaked 24 hours before they can be used.
Okay.
And then I lace it like you saw in the video. And once it's dry, or what I like to say is once it has gotten used to being a new thing, because you've got a standing tall people, a tree, and you have a four-legged, and then you have another four-legged here. And so it takes time for them to get used to their new being.
Right. Okay.
And they've been transformed, literally.
Yeah.
So I always say prayers to them in the process of them drying, to honor them and to thank them for their sacrifice and their gift. And then once it's dry, then I put a sheepskin handhold on the back, so that the rawhide can be kind of rough on the hands when you've been drumming for 2 or 3 hours. So I put the sheepskin on after that.
Okay.
And then it's ready to be played.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And now you teach, you offer classes in this drum making process.
I do. I love it.
Yeah. And how long have you been offering the classes?
Almost 30 years.
Okay, so almost as long as you've actually been doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The first class I taught, there were 14 people.
oh wow.
Took us 12 hours.
Wow.
Not doing that anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So how many when you conduct a class at this point? I assume you're limiting the number of.
10 is really 10.
Yeah.
I can do 10, but after that it's overwhelmed for
right.
everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many times during the year do you offer the classes?
Usually quarterly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what's the cost for?
For a 16-inch, which all of these on the top are
Right.
16-inch, $150.
Okay.
And that includes a drumstick as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And my expert training, of
right.
course.
And I understand too that you also have like regular drum sessions, correct?
I have a women's drumming circle twice a month.
Yeah.
The first one is in Ashland at the Unitarian Church, and that's on the first Mondays. And then the third Monday is at the Phoenix Library,
Okay.
6:30 to 8.
All right. And so now we've got a set of images that you provided me of some of your other work that we can also talk about. So if the control room could bring up some of those images, and we'll talk about.
That's my neighbor.
Yeah. Okay.
She says she's now been immortalized.
Yeah. Okay. And that's one of your larger drums, correct?
Yes.
That's being represented there.
16 inch is the largest I do now.
Okay. And what's the small size that you do?
10. These
10.
are 10
Okay.
inch.
All right. And so let's go on to the next.
I call that Gemini.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I love it.
Yeah. And let's go on to the next.
This is my favorite story. If we have time,
Yeah,
I'd love
sure.
to tell it. So a woman bought this drum for me at a gathering that I go to every year. And she said, would you be willing to paint my favorite dog on it? And I said, yes, give me a picture and I'll do that. Do you have anything else that you'd like on the drum? And she said, yeah, I'd like dolphins. I said, okay. So I painted the dog and I painted the dolphins, and on the top and the bottom, I also painted her name in Braille because she is blind. She will never see the drum that I painted for her.
Oh, wow.
It is a huge honor for me.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Favorite story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go on to the next.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's go on to the next image. Okay. So now these are examples of some of your custom drumsticks, correct?
Drumsticks, yes.
Yeah.
I like to drum in style.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you. Okay. Let's go on to the next. Now,
Oops.
that's a talking stick, correct?
It is.
So,
Like those over there.
yeah, and so we have some examples here too that we'll get to. But talk to me a little bit. What is a talking stick specifically? How is it used? Because my understanding is for communication, correct?
You got it.
All right. Okay.
I think they're wonderful for wedding presents, and we should send them to Congress.
Okay.
So you need to be in agreement
Yeah.
that you will hold the talking stick, and whoever holds the talking stick has the absolute floor, and they will tell their sacred truth. And so the other people are invited to do their sacred listening. So they don't argue with the person who's talking. They don't give advice unless they ask for it. They don't have many conversations on the side. It's a real honoring of each other's opportunity to share who they really are.
Okay.
And it's changed my life dramatically, just knowing that I can tell my truth and nobody's going to challenge me about it, and I get to discover more about my truth.
Right.
Yeah. And I like to make them for the eagle. The original talking stick was an eagle feather, and so in council, the indigenous people would honor the person holding the eagle feather as the one who had the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like here, I have an example of, again, one of your talking sticks that represents the eagle.
This one represents a raven.
Raven, okay.
Raven is one for the wise people.
Right.
In particular, wise crones. And I consider this to be the raven holding the egg of truth.
Okay.
And the same with the eagle there, it's holding the gem of truth.
Okay. And then this here is an example of a feather type of talking.
It's a hand-painted rawhide eagle feather.
Okay.
So that whoever can use it as a talking stick, same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have an example here of like a custom drumming stick. Right?
Yes.
Correct? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I very much like the Celtic knots, so I like doing that. That's one of the things that I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. And we have some additional images as well that we can continue with. So yeah, so this is also an example of
It's a rawhide rattle.
rawhide rattle. Okay. And let's go on to the next. That's one of your talking sticks, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so then let's go on to the next.
Oops. Should be upright. That's a rattle also.
Okay.
That was fun.
All right.
This is an emu egg. cousin of the ostrich, about half the
Right.
size of an ostrich.
Okay.
And I love horses, and so I painted that.
All righty. Let's go on to the next.
This one is another story from. I have a 103-year-old aunt. I had,
Okay.
and I painted this for her, and she absolutely loved it and shared it with everybody. And she died last year,
Okay.
and so I got it back,
Uh-huh.
and I wound up giving to a friend.
Okay.
But it was a real honor for me to be able to paint that for my aunt.
Yeah. All right. Now this is an example of one of your walking sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have example right here. I'll bring this over. So this is an example of one of your walking sticks.
Yes. Those are also, I have a wonderful tool called a Power Crafter that carves the designs on it that I want.
Right. Okay.
I think people should be able to walk in style
Yeah.
or hike, whichever,
Yeah.
and I have fun doing it.
Yeah. Well, I really like these. This is in the past. I've when my health wasn't quite as good in the past, and I had to make use of a cane for a while. And I was always looking for a really stylish
Right on.
form of walking stick, and these are cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, in addition to, is there anything else that I'm missing in terms of your crafts? You got like we have over here an example of your drum cases, correct?
Right. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Or just should I pick it up?
Yeah. No, go ahead and pick that up and
Okay.
yeah.
This is my personal drum case,
Ah, that's cool.
but they are made to order because everybody's drum is different.
Right.
This one is made of elk, but I also do them in deerskin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get to walk in style with your drum.
Yeah. So now we're coming close to the end of the show.
Okay.
Could you do a little bit of a drum sequence for us?
I can.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get
Oh
you
no,
one.
I'm attached.
Oh, well, we can get you. We can
Here,
get you situated here.
if you let me have the
So there's.
yeah, and just grandmother.
Yeah. So, Lynn, if you want to get one of those.
Grandmother.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's all right. One of my
Thank you.
crew is making an appearance for a moment, so that's all right.
Wouldn't you like to be right next to her?
Yeah.
I just love this picture.
Yeah, it's a really great, beautiful scene, you know. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
could certainly see myself sitting there. That'd be,
I would love it.
yeah. Now, what's the general price range for if someone wants to purchase a drum from you? What's
If they want a plain 16-inch, it's $150, the same as if you take a class.
Okay.
If you want it painted, I start at $100 and go from there.
okay?
This would probably cost $200.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And then, like in case of like your like a custom drumstick, what's like the price range on your
Usually $45.
Okay, and
yeah.
then like your rattles.
Rattles anywhere from 45 to 95.
Okay,
Walking sticks 50 to 75. 95 was one of them.
yeah.
95.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And so if people want to find you online, what's your online website? You have like a
I have rainbowrhythms.etsy.com,
okay,
and then my email is rrandart12@gmail.com.
okay.
Yeah.
And you're on Facebook.
I am.
Correct.
Same thing, Rainbow Rhythms and
Right.
Art.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Marta, I really appreciate your coming on to the show.
Me too.
Yeah, as you do some really cool, unique stuff, and I love seeing what you do.
Thank
and
you very much.
And hopefully sometime this year I will get a drum from you, because I think that would be a fun thing.
It is definitely.
So I thank you, Marta. And so we've basically reached the end of our show, Rogue Artisans and Crafters, and we thank you at home for joining us and learning about our featured artist, Marta Quest. We wish to thank Marta for agreeing to come onto the show to discuss her life as an artist and her work. I encourage you, the viewer, to visit Marta online at her official social media page on Facebook. Just search for Marta Quest. Be sure to also find her and her work at the many craft and art fairs that she exhibits at. We also want to thank our crew who have made it possible to put this program together, and to thank RVTV for their wonderful studio facility, which allows us to produce shows such as this one. If you would like to become a studio producer and create your own public access show, you can contact RVTV to learn how. You can also watch the show on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. and Thursday evenings at 11:30 p.m. on Channel 15 of the Ashland Home Network, and in the rest of Southern Oregon via Charter Cable on Channel 182. You all can also find us, our episodes of Rogue Artisans and Crafters at archive.org. You can also visit RVTV online at rvtv.sou.edu to find live streaming of all RVTV shows. You can also find our show on Facebook by visiting and liking our official show page. Just search for Rogue Artisans and Crafters. I'm your host, David Glamour Dave Nienow, and we will see you next time. And then they do a breaking sound with like clap effect.